Well, welcome to Real Talk. I have with me tonight Chloe and Rachel. You might be like, well, who's Rachel? Well, who's Rachel?
She's been my best friend for 18 years.
18 years.
We've known each other since nursery in big church.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And we know Rachel because she was in our youth group in Louisville when she was so little. And now she is graduated from high school, and so is Chloe. So let's get started. First of all, y'all graduated. Congratulations. So excited for both of you. It's been so neat to see just how God has brought you all through this season and graduate in such a difficult time. So we're excited for y'all. So what are y'all's next steps? Let's start with you, Chloe. Where are you going? What's next for you?
I'm going to Charleston Southern in about, I think it's 15 days now. That's when I'm moving.
Wow.
And I'm going to be majoring in biology for 4 years. And then after I get my degree in that, they have a PA school down there. I'm really hoping that I can get into that and start working in a hospital and helping people. That's always been something I wanted to do.
That's so cool. And what are you doing, Rachel?
So in 18 days, we figured out that I will be starting at Boyce College in Louisville with in the bachelor's business degree program. And then in April, I'm transferring up to New York, the Culinary Institute of America, to begin my culinary arts degree. And I'm hoping to return to Boyce after that to finish.
That's so cool. I'm so excited for you. I also already knew that of both of them, but now you all know that. And how do you feel the Lord is calling you to serve Him in the years to come? Let's start with Rachel this time.
Well, right now, I definitely feel that the Lord is calling me to pursue the path of culinary and the path of food. And people are always going to need to eat, and that's just a way that the Lord has given me a gift or a talent of being able to create food that people really enjoy and love. And I feel like that could open up some really amazing opportunities for the gospel. Whether that's feeding people over in the missionary field, whether that's working in a restaurant in Louisville, or could be working in a school somewhere. There's always going to be opportunities to feed people and also feed them the gospel and share that gospel with them. So
that's so good. We love food, and Dan loves food. So that's so good. What about you? How do you feel like the Lord's going to allow you to serve Him in the years to come?
Well, it's always been a passion of mine to help people. I think get better, because I think seeing somebody sick or hurt, it hurts my heart, because I want to be the one to help them get better. And I really feel like this is what God wants me to do, is just help people. And I don't know, I feel peaceful about it.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Okay, so the second question is for Chloe. You're passionate about life and putting an end to abortion. How did that come about? And how has the gospel shaped the way you think about human life?
Last summer, I had the opportunity to attend Palmetto Girls State, which is like, you basically build a government, so people have to run for office. And it's all girls. Like, we have to run for office, and we were given certain topics we could and couldn't talk about. And they sat us all down and said, the one topic you can't talk about is abortion. And that really, it really messed with me, because I was like, life is so important. Like, that's the first human right that we're given, and we're not allowed to talk about it here. Like, even though it is a very, politicized issue, it's still human life, and we should be able to talk about it. Yeah. And I realized how silent I had been about it, and I realized I needed to start speaking up more about it. And I did more research, and I realized that since Roe v. Wade was legalized, there have been over 60 million abortions. And I was just like, each one of those is an individual human life that God has created, and there's no way I can be silent. Like, I'm here today, and I'm able to fight for them, so I should. And I think having this passion for life, along with passion to help others, can really help me minister to women and children and men, and get the word out there that human life is something that's sacred and it needs to be protected, and we need to start doing something about it.
Wow, it's very powerful. I can't believe that was the one thing you couldn't talk about. Man, you could talk about anything except for this.
Yeah.
What? But yes, life is so important, and I'm so thankful for how God has used that in your life, and it's really a testimony. So that's really good. I pray that the Lord continues to use you to bring light to something that is so tragic. All right. For both of you all, what is the biggest lesson you have learned during your time in student ministry? What is something you wish you would have done differently? Who wants to go first? Rachel, what is?
I think the biggest thing for me that I learned is to wait on God's timing, because that is so important, especially in high school when things are really starting to pick up and like you're getting ready to go out into the world and you're so anxious for different things to start. You know, your first job, you're anxious for college, you're anxious for maybe relationships and all of those things, and just really learning that we have a God who is in control of everything, and that we have to be patient, even though that's really hard sometimes. We have to be patient for His timing and for His plans for our life, and we can't just try and go out and do it on our own, because we'll fail. We'll make a mess of everything if we try to rush into something too quickly, or we push something that the Lord is not prepared for us, or something that we're not ready for yet. And maybe that's like, for me, that was just waiting to not date in high school. That was a decision I made. I decided to just wait, making sure that every decision I made, that I was doing it with prayer, and that I was going to the Lord before I rushed into something. So that was one thing. And another thing that I would probably do differently is take every opportunity to sit down with someone. If they're like, hey, would you like to get coffee sometime? Like, take advantage of that. I think there were times where I was like, yeah, okay, like, with like camp counselors or with other people where I just didn't really give them a whole lot of time or focus, and I really could have learned a lot from them. And I didn't take advantage of those opportunities where I think I could have learned something from them. So taking every opportunity to really listen to the peers and the counselors that the Lord has put in your life in high school.
That's really good. What about you?
I think the biggest takeaway for me in high school is just learning how my decisions and my choices affect other people, because a lot of people don't make good decisions, and they don't realize that their sinful choice affects more than just them. And I've seen people who make bad decisions, and I feel bad for them. And I think I've learned from people who have made mistakes, and I've learned from people who have made good choices. And I think it's just really important to be wary of, especially like other people are watching you, and they're watching the choices you make. So you also need to keep that in mind. You always have somebody looking up to you, and you need to be careful of what you say and the choices that you make for your life. And, what was the last question?
What would you wish you would have done differently?
It kind of goes back to pro-life stuff, but I wish I had gotten involved at the pregnancy center earlier. I got involved at the beginning of this year, and I only had 1 year to serve, and they're really kicking it off hard with. They've started a new student panel, and I wish I could be around longer to participate more in that. So I think it would just be a really great opportunity for students at Northside if they want to participate. It's really a good use of time. I really encourage them to do that.
I didn't realize you had only been on it for a short time. You're so connected, but it seems like you've been there for longer, so that's so good. Good opportunity. So those were good answers. Thank you all for that question. We have one more question. What is one word of wisdom or encouragement that you would give middle school or high school students that fall after you? Yeah.
I would say choosing your friends is a very important decision you're going to make throughout middle school and high school. I didn't have very good friends in middle school, and I made pretty poor decisions in middle school. But high school, I started meeting people who thought more like me, and they were pushing me in the right direction, and I really feel like I grew spiritually around these people. So I would just say making friends is a huge decision, and whether you pick good or bad people, that's going to determine, in a way, sort of what you do with your life. Because if you hang around with garbage, you're going to become garbage. If you hang around goodness, you're going to think more highly, I guess.
I think my word of encouragement would just be to be very careful of the things that you say or the way that you speak, because our words do affect other people and they can affect relationships. And so, obviously, we're in church and everything, sometimes in a youth group, but you want to make sure that you're always, like Pastor Scott talked about, like seasoning your speech with salt, and like you're always being kind and as respectful to everyone as you can, not treating the younger students with less respect, not treating the older ones with less respect. Just always being kind and being aware of the things that you're saying, and just making sure that we're treating everyone with that much respect.
That's awesome. That's really good. Well, those are all of our questions. Do we need more time? Or does that sound good? Is that good? Yeah. Well, thank you all so much. And yeah, just encouraged by y'all's answers, and just keep your eyes fixed on the Lord this year. You know, where you're going to 2 different places, and just don't lose sight of who you're serving, who your identity is in, and y'all are gonna have a great first year of college, and we can't wait to see what God has for y'all. So
Very excited.